Hello there, my name is Roy, and this is my CAM presentation on West Irondequoit Central School District. So, West Irondequoit School District is a school district located in the city of Rochester, New York, Rochester being New York's third largest city. This district is one of several within the city. It currently has over 3,600 students enrolled in the district. Among them, it has 6 elementary schools, K through 3, 2 middle schools, grades 4 through 6, a junior high, and Irondequoit High School. As you can see, it has a high graduation rate, and most of those who graduate from Irondequoit High School have earned a Regents diploma, and the vast majority of graduating students also pursue college coursework while in school and beyond. Okay, some quick demographic data. I didn't show it on the slide, but they're roughly 50-50 split between male and female students. The population is just over 70% white, about 12% Hispanic or Latino, just under 10% African American, and a sprinkling of other ethnicities. All right, so when we get into the mission statement of West Irondequoit Central School District, you can see that they really present themselves as focusing on being partners to the community, and they have a focus on providing the optimal learning environment for all students. And having both observed and worked in the schools, you can also tell that they have a really concerted effort to push student wellness. They have fitness programs, and I will get to that later in the presentation, but part of their mantra of creating the optimal learning environment is creating optimal students for learning through wellness. All right, so when we get into the physical conditions of the buildings of the school, the middle and high schools are recently built. Unfortunately, I have not directly observed any of the elementary schools, but from pictures, they look nice. Their buildings are in very good repair. They're relatively new. I believe the high school is only about 15 years old. The classrooms are wide and open, wide hallways. Students have lockers. And currently, in the midst of the COVID epidemic, they have janitorial staff in between every single period sanitizing all the desks. They sanitize all used writing implements, so they're taking the pandemic very seriously. Currently accessible, they have a lot of facilities that, outside of the pandemic are open for public use for free or reduced cost. Pool, a fitness center, an auditorium, and they have this really cool, the Helmer Nature Center. It's a 45-acre outdoor classroom that allows students to go in and experience a natural environment right in the heart of the city, which I think is really cool. Okay, so in the middle and high school, the classrooms are very spacious. Each class can easily accommodate 30 or more students. Every room is equipped with a smart board. I mostly observed in science classrooms, and all of them are equipped with a full lab area, full lab benches, sinks, all of the utilities you would need. The hallways are open, very wide. It's very, there's never a clog in the hallway. One thing I will say is that the schools can look a little drab. There's almost no color, everything's gray, and there's no signage or motivational posters. So you definitely can get a little bit of that like stale, institutionalized feeling walking through, but it's also very clean and bright and open, so that is nice. In terms of how the building feels, I've never felt unsafe inside of the building. Honestly, part of what makes you feel safe are the school safety officers. You can see them, they're almost wearing like construction vests, like bright reflective yellow. And you see them, the kids got to listen to them, but you see them joking around with the kids and the staff. Um, yeah, so the building definitely cannot, and the teachers really do their part to make their rooms feel a bit cheery, even when the common areas of the school don't feel quite so cheery. The school exterior. So the middle and high school, it's wide, it's open, it's easily accessible from the street. Um, the front area of the middle and high schools is actually almost completely taken up by parking lot, so there's no nice like front lawn, but there's plenty of sports fields behind the school. The whole area is clean, it's free of litter. The neighborhood itself at the middle and high school, and actually all of the elementary schools are like on the same block. Um, it's a very nice, well kept residential neighborhood. Almost, it's right in the heart of the city, but it feels almost kind of suburban. Uh, a handful of small businesses, but it really is mostly a residential area. And here you can see at the top here, I have the Dake Middle School, below at the front of the Rondequoit High School, just so you can get a sense of what it looks like. And this picture I felt was important to include. You can really see like you're just kind of coming into a parking lot as you enter the school. Okay, so in terms of physical appearance of people, most all of the staff and the students I've observed have been very well groomed. Everyone looks healthy. Even if someone's having a bad day, they don't look unclean. The dress code overall is insanely casual. I see teachers all the time in just a t-shirt and jeans, and it's not even like a Friday thing. It's just you kind of wear what you want. Students can wear hats. Yeah, the dress code is insanely lax, but I kind of consider that a good thing because you're not policing students. In terms of the emotional state, I've seen students and teachers both have good days and bad days. I have noticed post lockdown that the students and to a lesser extent the teachers are definitely subdued. It's quieter. I mean, right now the school is only working at half capacity. um, right now actually they have all of the students split into two groups, so half the students come in Monday, Tuesday, the other come on Thursday, Friday. The school is closed down for sanitation on Wednesdays, and it's definitely quiet. It's definitely, you don't see as many kids being loud or joking aloud, and I'm not sure if that's just because teachers are more easily managing them because there's less of them, or if it's just the pandemic making everybody more subdued, but it's definitely interesting to think about. The teachers I've talked to, every teacher I've talked to has been happy to work there, very enthusiastic about their job. A lot of them are noticeably more frustrated, especially the teachers I've interviewed are more frustrated with just basically having to teach twice as many classes because they have to teach all of their students in half the class time, split into 4 different groups. Some of their students are doing online only, so that's effectively another whole section of classes they're teaching. So this pandemic is really coming down the teachers, and it definitely seems to be kind of affecting them. All right, so going back to student demographics, just over a third of students are considered economically disadvantaged. I was able to find on the New York State data website that there's relatively few homeless students, and I couldn't find any data on migrant students or students in foster care. But definitely we are well above the state average in terms of students that are economically disadvantaged. The school does offer several programs to help with housing and clothing and cleaning supplies and stuff like that. Also, the district does offer a free meal program, so any student, regardless of financial situation is entitled to free breakfast and school lunch. And right now during the pandemic, the school is even offering a grab and go program where students can, on their off days, kind of just do a no contact delivery of breakfast and lunch. And this is offered at around 11 p.m. 11 a.m. So this district is ensuring that no child goes hungry, even if they're not in school for the day, which I kind of really like. Going back to how people are interacting with each other, most student to student interaction seems to be relatively typical. I haven't seen anything really out of the ordinary or out of expectation. Um, there definitely is some discipline issues when it comes to social distancing. Kids, are naturally clumping up together as they travel through the halls. But on the other hand, I'm seeing very few kids not be good about wearing masks. People definitely seem to be taking that seriously. Um, One thing that I will note is that compared to other places I've been and other places I've observed, teachers definitely seem to be more willing than I've noticed other places in terms of sending kids to detention. So that is just something I've kind of kept an eye on, in which disruptive students, like, if you're acting up in class, they will send you to the DHS, which is kind of like their temporary detention department. Um, yeah. Okay, going to resource materials for students. As from what I've seen, the middle and high schools do not use textbooks. In place of that, every single student, grades K through 12, all throughout school, are given school issued laptops. They're pretty nice little HP laptops, just equipped with all of the basic programs, Microsoft Office and whatnot. A lot of students will customize their laptops with stickers, and the school itself uses a third-party program called Schoology. It's an online service, and you can create assignments, submit assignments, quizzes, tests. This is a very, very technology-forward school district, and it's kind of expected that students, by the time they reach middle and high school, can pretty much do the entirety of their schooling online if need be, which current situation considered is useful. All right, languages. So all instruction is primarily English. So the vast majority of the student population are native English speakers. However, there are approximately 3% of the student population is ELL. Most are Spanish and Arabic. There are a few Chinese language speakers, and the district seems to follow the sheltered English model in terms of ELL teaching. In terms of language instruction, the school does offer Regent Spanish, French, Italian, and German, and it has recently started offering Japanese as an elective. In terms of parental involvement, there's the Alumni Association. There is the Infinite Campus, which is a computer program that allows parents to update, get feedback on their child's grades, what they're hearing from teachers, stuff like that. There's also a local PTA in which there seems to be a heavy amount of involvement. Um, from what I've heard when I've talked to teachers, parental involvement has definitely increased during the pandemic. Students, are doing 3/5 of their schooling at home, so a lot of parents are just seeing what their kids are doing a lot more up front, and Okay, in terms of uh, programs offered to the greater public, there are driver education and pre-licensing courses, senior citizen nights, which let students get with the senior citizens and hang out and do reading and things like that. There's also open enrollment on career training, things like arts, business, computer science. Um, and a lot of like postgraduate kind of training and stuff, especially just general career stuff, seems to be available and for low cost or free cost. Okay, so going back to kind of almost what the mission statement. So, what are the learning goals? From what I've observed, the teachers definitely want to grow critical thinking in their students. There's a heavy, and also just there is a very, very strong school culture when it comes to health and well being, fitness, diet, emotional well being, healthy living, anti drug programs. Safety courses, stuff like that. The environment seems to be a little heavily focused for my taste on kind of getting kids to be obedient, which is unfortunate, but they really do seem to have their children's best, you know, in mind. Okay, for professional development programs offered, um, they have the Western Irondequoit Central School District Comprehensive Professional Development Plan, and that is a collaboration of a bunch of teachers and community professionals to kind of create this publicly accessible guidelines to improve learning in the district. It's very curriculum focused. Main focus, increase the rate of graduation and get more students to graduate with Regents and advanced Regents diplomas. There's also the West Irondequoit Teaching and Learning Center. This is a program that was created to provide high quality professional development to teaching staff, and I've only ever heard good things about it. So when we get into the learning goals, there definitely seems to be a push for college preparedness. The school is partnered with Monroe Community College for credit, and it also has one of the country's top performing school districts for AP examinations. And a lot of students I've talked to in the high school are just racking up AP credits and college credits and kind of making themselves prepared for their future careers. In terms of possible strategies to improve the school system, it's a very, very well off school system. One thing I've noticed that their curricula lacks is that there's no mandatory volunteering in the curriculum. There's no like senior projects where they have to volunteer or anything like that. And I'm wondering if maybe that could be incorporated into the curriculum. Also, just kind of teachers are very willing to remove troublesome students in classrooms instead of working to shape their behavior. So I'm wondering if that's more of a cultural issue that could be dealt with in the long term. Okay, so in terms of community assets, there are a few things that West Irondequoit neighborhood in Rochester specifically offers. So there's the West Irondequoit Foundation, which is a nonprofit for educational programs. Its big thing is an annual cornhole tournament, which I thought was kind of cool. Currently, everything's on hold because of the pandemic, but that's the world we live in now. There is the Irondequoit Public Library. It offers a massive selection of workshops, training programs, crafting assistance, a huge selection of books and electronic materials for loan. There are also several local parks. Just in the neighborhood, there are 3 parks. The school is also less than a mile from Lake Ontario, so there's a huge amount of natural beauty right outside. And that's just the parks in the neighborhood. City of Rochester itself is filled with parks and gardens and cool culture things. And yeah, so that is the community assets of West Irondequoit Central School District. Thank you for watching.